Welcome back to Seen It Before, where we're probably going to say something stupid about your favorite movie, and I'm... Oh, wait. We've seen it all before. I'm Danny. Wow, that was fucking horrible.
That was awful.
All right. Welcome back to Seen It Before, where we're probably going to say something stupid about your favorite movie because we've seen it all before. I'm Danny.
I'm Dan, and that's the first time we've had to do it twice in a while, actually.
Yeah, I've had it memorized for a while, and then I just...
He was like,
brain fart.
I'm Danny. You couldn't remember your name there for a second.
I couldn't.
I don't know. Anyway, so this is part 2 of our 4-part series on Harry Potter, the whole franchise of the 8 movies. 8 movies, yeah.
8 movies.
So we're on movies 3 and 4 today. We're going to bring back our guest from last time, James. He's here again in his Wizard On shirt, and it's a very nice shirt you got there.
Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Thanks for having me back.
Of course.
Glad it didn't nerd out too hard last time.
Speaking of shirts, we actually fulfilled our plan with the, I fulfilled the part of the plan where we're going to wear our house colors.
Thing.
It was your idea.
We didn't talk about it this week.
Yeah, no, we didn't. I just figured maybe. So you're a Ravenclaw today.
I am nowhere.
And then James is Dumbledore.
Yeah, all right, cool.
All right.
Yeah, I guess black isn't really a house, huh?
No.
No.
You're just a Dementor.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
That's movie 3. I almost said episode 3. I've had too much Star Wars on the brain lately.
There's been a lot of Star Wars. That's not what we're talking about.
Someone say Star Wars?
All right.
Other nerdy franchise today.
All right, let's get to these movies, and then we're gonna come back and chat. Just chat a little. So my first note on Azkaban is Harry's a bitch. So that's
What's your explanation for that?
I don't remember exactly what it was.
Harry's a bitch. Lumos. Like, that's all he's doing in the beginning. Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I just called him a bitch. He's just a bitch.
all right, cool.
Funnily enough, Danny, my very first note was Lumos at beginning. LOL. Wizards aren't supposed to be allowed to use magic outside of school, and it's so memed everywhere. It's like the literal movie started breaking the international law.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, you're not supposed to use magic outside of school as an underage wizard.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I knew that, but is that in the book? Or he's just like doing that?
No, he uses a flashlight. You know, like
Oh.
a normal muggle would.
What the fuck, Alfonso?
Yeah, he just
Cuarón?
uses a flashlight.
Oh, whatever.
There's some Willy Wonka shit going on here in the beginning. So,
And like they have magic people that can detect if you're using magic, like because we'll talk about that in the next episode in the 5th one.
yes.
But
Yeah, the
so like,
trace.
like a burp.
Okay.
Oh, also, I got a donut.
Ooh.
So when
He's
the camera's not on me, I don't know when the camera's not on me, so
It's fine.
I'll be eating this donut.
He'll just be indulging himself over there. Anyway, I really hope it was still on you there. Anyway, James, so the beginning of this book, is there anything different in the book versus the movie?
Lord. Well, yeah, he doesn't use freaking Lumos Maxima in the book. Aunt Marge. Oh my God, Aunt Marge. Isn't she awful?
Aunt Marge is a bitch. How about
She
that?
is such a-
Yeah. In
yeah.
the book, it's kind of dragged out a little more, but also she doesn't take a weird tumble throughout London. She just, like later on, you see him at the bus or whatever walking. You see her floating in the background if
Yep.
you pay attention.
Nice.
Yeah, that's not in the book. She doesn't just go off into the sky like a balloon.
Nah, it's
I mean,
fine.
she is like a balloon, but not
thought-
out in London.
I thought she died in like the first time I watched it, and because I've always missed that little line that Fudge says to him when he's at the Shrieking Shack or whatever the fuck it's called, where she's like, "We needed to get
Cauldron.
like Leaky Cauldron." So they had to get like 3 wizards, police wizards, or some shit to take her down or some shit like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Imagine if she
Yeah,
popped.
she was just in the living room in the book. It wasn't as grand.
yeah,
But guys, imagine if she popped. Just
that would be
Oh.
hilarious. That would be something that the boys would do.
it is something the boys would do. Oh my God.
But yeah, Aunt Marge, top 10 worst people ever in movies, like forever.
I think she's a worse person than Umbridge. At least Umbridge, had
Ooh.
some thought
That's
behind
hard.
what she was doing for education and the greater good. Marge was just straight up bitch for no reason.
All right, guys. I think
She hated everything.
when we get to our next 2 movies, 5 and 6, I think
forgot
we're gonna
about
have to
Umbridge.
we're gonna have to like
The battle between
battle
the two
between
bitches.
these two, Marge and Umbridge, to see who is the worst. I think we're gonna have to do that.
Yeah, right now I think right now honestly I think Umbridge is edging it out because like I just remember how fucking just like because she's tactical, you know. But I'll get to it later.
Yeah. We'll get back to that. All right, Danny.
Alfonso Cuarón is the director of this movie.
Hell yeah.
He's known for Children of Men. I think the next year after this one and Gravity. And I remember a lot of behind the scenes stuff that it was his idea to make this franchise more authentic and more kinetic. So what he did is he first of all he allowed all the students or all the actors, the kid actors, to wear the clothes how they would normally wear them. You know, so they allowed them to dress themselves. Not like the first two where it was just they were all wearing cloaks and, you know, all uniform and stuff. And also he wanted the movie to feel kinetic, so there really aren't that many static shots in the movie. Even like people just talking dialogue scene, it's like the camera's always moving.
Yeah, there's that one shot in the beginning with Mr. Weasley and Harry where they're just walking. Like it's a nice one shot they got going on. It's
exactly, yeah, and like in the leaky cauldron. And you know, and like I was always wondered how they did. Like it must have been like a pain in the dick for those VFX artists to like track like the green screen poster where like Sirius Black is like screaming or whatever on the poster. So it must have been a pain in the dick to do that.
Speaking of leaky cauldron, you guys remember Tom, the creepy like Igor from Frankenstein looking thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the same. That's meant to be the same character as the sweet old guy that was at the bar in the first movie. Tom. He has the face of a toothy walnut, is how he's described in the book.
Yeah, I knew that was like a character that he got recast. I just don't remember him in Sorcerer's Stone. I just don't remember what he looks like.
He was just some older bar owner, bartender, very nice old guy, and then in this he's some
weird looking.
They went a full 180 on him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it's not magical enough.
Anything else for this first part before we get to Hogwarts?
The first part, I don't really know.
The night bus is pretty cool.
The night bus.
Oh, right.
Pretty
the night
cool.
bus.
Oh,
yeah.
So I have this Seen It game. Seen It Harry Potter, if anyone remembers it.
I had Seen It Friends.
Seen It Friends. Oh yeah, I had a bunch of different ones. I had Seen It Nickelodeon, Seen It Junior, regular Seen It Harry Potter, Seen It, some other shit. But they would always use the night bus music for like everything. Like whenever your time is running, it was like you know.
Yes,
like
it is some pretty epic music.
Like I remember so much of the music like part from that game instead of the movies. And it's the same thing with like Lego Star Wars. I recognize the music more in the game than the movies, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like I was like incepted.
And pausing on that for a second, you're going to have something in the next movie with music in it as well. There's one part with towards the end that gets you. You're just like, oh, that's the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, James, you know what I'm talking about.
I think I do.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But
it's seared into my memory. But
yeah. All right, we're to Hogwarts now. We're there.
Yeah, and we're missing the part when they're on the train.
Yeah,
that's they're getting to Hogwarts. That's where the Dementors.
We're almost at Hogwarts.
How do you forget the Dementors? Like James, you're insulting James. He's a Dementor today.
I didn't write it down.
Yeah,
I didn't write it down.
But yeah, okay. So I love that how it's just directed. It's like it's all rainy out, and like this is like the rainy Harry Potter movie where it's like just super dark and gloomy and stuff.
Doom and gloom, baby.
Doom and gloom. That's when this movie started getting kind of dark atmosphere, and I like
this. This is a pretty dark movie for a PG movie.
Yeah. And then so Ron kind of puts his hand on the window, and then you see it gets really cold, and then like the glass gets all crackly and icy, and then like and then there's that classic shot with the Dementor's like hand going around the door. And I'm like, oh, it's so good. It
was very well done.
So there's actually a little fun trivia fact for you here regarding the production of that scene. When Cuarón first went to like his art department or whatever to talk about the scene, there was a bit of mistranslation, not translation, but like they misheard what he said due to his accent, where they thought he said that they wanted eyes, like eyes falling from the sky instead of like the rain to turn to eyes, but he really wanted ice.
Oh.
So they drew up this whole thing of eyes like rain turning to eyes falling from the sky, and he was horrified.
Yeah, that's a little too intense for a
Like,
kids
what
movie.
is this?
Yeah. That's some multiverse of madness type shit.
That
right
is
there.
some
Oh my god, they
multiverse of
should have
madness
done
shit.
that. They should have done that in that movie. That would have been awesome.
It would have been.
But also another fun fact, this one more pertaining to the nerdiness of it all. Lupin is on that train car and he's asleep when we first see him. He's like falling asleep. The actual date that took place on is the day after a full moon, which is why he's so tired.
Yes, I do remember hearing that. They
'cause
mentioned
it would
it
have
somewhat
been,
in the movie. Yeah.
It would have been September 1st, 1993. Yeah.
Okay, that's too much.
Well, every year it takes place 90 whatever
Yeah.
number it is.
It's really a 90s.
That's
movie.
also how old Harry Potter is because he was born in 1980. So
He's 91.
his
Shit.
age, yeah, in 91. Sorcerer's Stone takes place in 91. Book 1, he is 11.
He's 11. Oh, so
Yeah.
okay. Sure. He was born in 1980.
Yes.
You just said that.
You just said that. Yeah, you just said that. All right.
Yep, July
Sorry.
31st, 1980.
Do
The
some
last
math.
possible day
Yeah, and
before
that's
he would have been the next
actually
year.
the release date of this episode. Oh, wait.
Harry Potter's
actually,
birthday!
no,
His
first episode.
42nd birthday.
No, it was the last episode. Yeah, it was. No, it was Daniel Radcliffe's birthday last episode when it released.
I'm so confused with when
no,
we're
it
releasing
was.
these.
It was Daniel Radcliffe's birthday, not Harry Potter's.
Daniel Radcliffe, and then the last one's going to release on Harry Potter's birthday.
Yes.
Surprise, surprise.
So that is this
Whatever.
episode.
Haha.
Moving on to Hogwarts, everybody. We cool with that?
Fine.
Yeah, now we can move on.
Fine, we can move on to Hogwarts.
Okay, because I
Jesus.
want to talk about that they're legit doing fucking drugs with the animal tabs.
What?
The animal tabs when they're taking them, like they.
Oh,
not
yeah.
drugs.
That's legit. That's magical drugs, James.
No, it's magical candy.
It's like
magical-
magical pop.
You could
rocks.
argue
No,
that
no.
drugs are candy IRL, depending
Yeah,
on
yeah,
how
yeah.
you look at
They're
it.
adult
but
candy.
They're
It's fine.
taking candy.
Nah, it's drugs.
but
They're
it's
like 13, man.
that's such a cool scene to include, though. Like the fun in games really is the fun in games. Like that's one of the most at least for me, one of the best scenes that I just kind of look at, just like when just they're having fun. And we'll get into this later in the next episode. But why episodes or movie 6 or book 6 or whatever, Half-Blood Prince is my favorite because it's kind of the last bit of fun in games before the real dark final battle comes. So, but I like how we're kind of enjoying time with the kids and they're having fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And it must have been really awkward to film that scene, especially for Rupert Grint, because he's got to be like, rawr, rawr. And they have to add in the sound effect later. So
Yeah. I always thought Trelawney was J.K. Rowling. I always thought.
I wouldn't put it past you. She does. I don't know. It's like she's got the air of
Like before I knew who she was and what she looked like, I thought that. Well, I knew who she was, but I didn't know what she looked like until later on.
Yeah.
But, this is who I thought. They put her in the movie as Trelawney, but no.
I would have been. I mean, you've heard of author surrogates, right? Like George R.R. Martin is Sam Tarley in his book, and then
Pseudonyms?
no, like when they insert themselves as a character.
Yeah.
Yes, I see what you're
Yeah,
saying.
so I'd say that probably Trelawney is the most J.K. Rowling-ish character because she's like the crazy magic lady, right? And so J.K. Rowling came up with this crazy big world of magic. So
Exactly.
But also, Dan, that's Emma Thompson.
I
right?
do know that.
Okay,
Yes.
just making
Oscar.
I'm just saying, before,
Probably,
when
I
I watched this
believe
movie,
it.
the first time, and I was like, oh, these books were written by J.K. Rowling. I was like, oh, that's her. No, it wasn't her.
No, it was not her.
I
No.
really hope the camera was on me at that time because I was eating my donut and I dropped a big ass sprinkle on me.
I don't think it was on you.
Oh
It
well,
was not.
damn it. Oh well.
Uh,
So, Dementors are basically ring wraiths, right? Can we all agree on that?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Dementors are an analogy for depression.
Oh.
J.K. Rowling has confirmed that herself.
Oh,
She wrote it based on her own experiences.
Makes sense.
You know,
They suck the
sucking the
life-
happiness and soul out of
Yeah,
you.
sucking the life out of you. Yeah.
One thing, so side tangent. Another character that I would argue is probably more of a better representation of depression for me is Freddy Krueger. And I've explained this to you, right? Because it's when I think of depression, I think of sleep and going to bed and not wanting to wake up and stuff. And so that's Freddy Krueger. You know, you're scared
What's it
of your
called when
dreams.
you don't want to go to sleep?
Insomnia.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
Um,
really dangerous when you have both of them.
Mm.
So,
I like the hints that Hermione is using the time turner like throughout, you know, and it makes me wonder why doesn't she use the time turner every other year after this? Like, does she get taken away?
It's in the books. Yeah, it gets taken away after the end of this year. Like she had to apply for special permission to use it from the Ministry of Magic because they regulate them extremely close until you read the Cursed Childs, and then it throws everything out the goddamn window. So don't ever read that ever. But yeah, they're regulated by the Ministry, and they like take it from her at the end of the year.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know it was Ministry like approved.
Oh, they're like super regulated. Like, because time is like, it's always, you can't mess with time. So it's like, you can only legally mess with time when approved by the government. Yeah.
yep.
that's
about
that's how
about
it's
right.
totally gonna go when time travel is invented.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. If it isn't already invented.
oh, dun, dun, dun. Who knows?
Oh, then there's a paradox that if time travel were to ever be invented, we'd already know about it. Or you can only travel to the time when time travel was invented and never beforehand.
Yeah.
It's a paradox. It's a bunch
It's
of
a
logic
huge
stuff
paradox.
Well, actually, it makes me wonder, like, how does time travel really work in this story? Because it seems like it's just like it creates kind of like, I like to think of it like a knot, or like a little tiny loop, where like it's an infinite loop.
You do the loop-to-loop and
Like
pull.
but they experience it once, but there's like multiple copies of themselves. Haha, SpongeBob.
Thank you.
I was explaining something. So it goes like, the timeline, loop, and then, they continue on, So, but like each version catches up. I'm boring. So anyway.
No,
You're
you
entirely
make
correct
sense,
with
though.
how it is
Yeah.
meant to
Cool.
occur.
When they meet Buckbeak for the first time, it's like, Hagrid, that is abuse to the kids. Like, he's just like, what are you doing, dude? That's just so dangerous.
In the book, there's an entire herd of hippogriffs.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
There's not just one.
Buckbeak.
Yeah.
She's-
But in Hagrid's defense, Malfoy was asking for it.
He
Like,
was,
yeah.
but he's still a kid.
He
You
literally,
can't fucking
Hagrid
do
explained
that.
the entire time, like, don't piss these creatures off and you'll be fine. And what does Malfoy have to go do? Not believe him and piss the creature off.
I mean,
Potter.
Potter. But like, poor Hagrid. He just gets the job, and first day a student gets hurt. It's got to suck for him, man. Because in the last movie, he was accused of opening the Chamber of Secrets. Guy can't catch a break.
He cannot.
Never.
at all.
He never.
I hate giant discrimination or half giant discrimination.
Yeah, I was gonna say. There's in the next movie. There's someone a little taller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so the ghosts. Why do they not need, or why do they need to sleep? Should they not have to sleep? It's a little weird. You think?
I don't know. Ask
'Cause, like,
Joanne.
they get kidnapped or whatever. Like, why are they sleeping? Like, are they like, don't bother me. I'm sleeping.
You mean the paintings?
Yeah, the paintings.
I think you meant the ghost.
I'm sitting here so confused. Like, when do ghosts ever sleep? Yeah, ghosts aren't paintings. They're separate things.
Oh.
But no, I know what you mean.
Got me.
I don't know. It's like, what do they got to do with their day? It's not like they have to rest up for anything.
That's fair.
Let's just stand there and kind of look annoyed whenever students ask
So,
us and shit.
In the Harry Potter universe, portraits are meant to be like extensions of the original self that they're based off of. Like, it's literally a somewhat living memory of them, pretty much, and they mimic as best as a painting can the characterizations or mimics or whatever the actions of a character that they are, who they are. Yeah.
Right. So
like, they just follow what the person when they were living would have done.
is there? Well, I wonder if I wonder. Okay, so I wonder if J.K. Rowling ever wrote something where like you can bring a Muggle painting to life. That'd be cool. Because you could like bring like Van Gogh's painting to life.
Yeah, the
You'd
scream.
be like, the scream, just like nonstop screaming. That'd be cool. And then you got the guy with the pitchfork and his unhappy wife next to him.
Oh my god, that would be so funny. That feels like it'd be a comedy.
I hate you. I hate you too.
That would have been pretty awesome. I believe the only reference she makes to how they're made is when Dumbledore, spoilers, Dumbledore dies.
What?
And in the book, they're just like, hey, his painting, he just appeared when he died in like the headmaster's office. He just
Okay.
yeah. So that's the only explanation to my recollection that she gave in the books about how they're made is it just appeared when he died.
All right, let's get to we're running a little low on time in this movie. So let's get to the time travel part where they first start using time travel and everything.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, so the whole thing is the whole crux of this movie is the relationship between Harry and Sirius Black, and everyone thinks Sirius Black is this evil guy, and he betrayed Harry's parents, and like he was like the number one guy or the right hand man to Voldemort, which turns out not to be true. And after the whole scene in the Shrieking Shack, what I think is the best scene in the movie, where it's just nonstop Expelliarmus, 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 and like lots of twists and turns, and all this stuff is revealed. It's a big exposition scene, but it's like very, very engaging and well done. And then you find out that like Sirius is Harry's godfather, and he's all like, "Yo, man, like I was locked in there for like 12 years. I was framed by like fucking your rat, literally a rat." And
he was framed in the paper.
Yeah, but so yeah, basically you kind of feel for Sirius the entire time. Like he becomes like the unsung hero throughout this movie, and wonderfully played by Gary Oldman. Great
100%.
performance. Yeah, he's truly a master of disguise.
Legend.
Yeah,
him and Johnny Depp, dude.
Yeah,
both of them.
A lot. Have you seen Ed Wood? And like Edward Scissorhands.
I haven't seen Actually, no, I have seen Scissorhands, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, I love that movie. It's so good. And this is another side tangent. Anthony Michael Hall.
Okay.
He's the nerd from Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I didn't know he played the bully in Edward Scissorhands. Like he bulked up and like he looks like a jock. I'm just like, what the fuck, man? But anyway.
Yeah. James, you got anything for that part of the movie?
I do. Yeah, I have a few questions or comments to make pertaining to the books. Firstly, so the Marauders map. Firstly, how cool was that map?
Hell
and how
yeah.
sick
So
would that be
cool.
in real life. Now, do you, to confirm, neither of you have read the books, right? Or
I've read the books once when I was a kid.
Okay.
And I read up to book 3 in college.
Okay, so you might know the answer to this, but I'm curious to know what Dan has to say. Do you know who the Marauders are?
No,
they don't
but
explain
I
it
have
in
read
the
the
movie
first
at
3
all.
books, but it's been a long time.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
they don't explain who they are in the movie whatsoever. Outside of on the map, it just says Padfoot, Prongs, Mooney, and Wormtail.
You
That's
get context clues.
Harry's dad is one of the Marauders. Lupin is another Marauder. Sirius Black is the other, and Peter Pettigrew is the 4th Marauder.
Huh.
Yep.
Padfoot is Sirius Black, as in he has a pad foot because he's a dog. Prongs is James because the antlers on a buck. Mooney is Lupin because the moon.
The moon, yeah.
And Wormtail because he's a rat, Peter Pettigrew.
Piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it all relates to their animal forms, which they're all animagi, which is a big deal in the books. Like that's
sick.
Something not to be taken lightly if you're an animagus.
I didn't know that James was an animagus.
Yeah, all of them. Well, Mooney, Lupin was not an animagus because he's a werewolf.
Yeah.
The other 3 all became animagi in support of Lupin, so they could be there with him when he turned into a werewolf on those nights. So he had companionship and he wasn't alone in the Shrieking Shack.
That's really
That's
nice.
so sweet.
It gives you a
And like
tear there,
becoming
yeah.
an animagus is an intensive process according to the book. So like this isn't something to be taken lightly by anyone, and they all did this when they were like 13, 14 to help out their friend.
Oh, so that means I just had a brain blast, like Jimmy Neutron. Like that means that McGonagall's an animagus too.
Yep.
Yes, she is.
I didn't know that. I just thought she
Yeah.
fucking magicked her way into a cat. I don't know.
It does make
just-
sense.
it makes
'cause
sense.
she's a
It basically,
transfiguration
like, yeah.
teacher. But yeah,
Yeah.
she's an animagus, and a character in the next movie is also an animagus, but it is not revealed whatsoever in the movie.
No,
Only
and I
in the
know who you're
books
talking
are
about.
animagus. Yeah.
Which I have a theory about episode. Or fuck it, stop saying episode 6. Half-Blood Prince. I have a theory. I'll bring it up in the next episode. It's kind of popular though.
Okay. Yeah. So they're just all kind of going through time here, trying to save Buckbeak.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the whole mission.
Yeah.
also in the book, Ron is a genius, and the movie does him dirty, very much so.
Oh,
But the biggest thing, divination is introduced heavily in this movie. And in the books, there's a lot of throwaway lines that Ron makes where they're just like, "Oh, speaking of,
there's
Trelawney is behind me
there she
now."
is. Yeah.
But in the books, he makes a lot of throwaway comments regarding their readings that they're supposed to be making, and he, doesn't seem to be taking it seriously. Every single thing he says is true, and winds up becoming true.
Shit.
He says at first he sees a bowler hat. Oh, maybe you'll end up working for the ministry, which Harry does. And there's an acorn in there, and it says, oh, maybe you'll have a windful, unexpected gold, which in the next movie he does.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the movie he doesn't. In the book he does.
Okay. And then
so he says a lot of things that just come true.
I remember seeing this video essay forever ago about how like they dumbed down Ron for the movies because that's like the Americanized version of like the best friend trope, right? They're idiots, that's just the dumb guy. And yeah, it just kind of like shows how like the books probably, well, they do have way more characterization, way better characterization, and it's just done better. And like I brought this up last time in the last episode, but I'll just summarize it. J.K. Rowling used to be really creative in that sense with the books, and now that she's writing screenplays, it's harder to include that stuff, and that's why I think she's failing. So, but anyway,
yeah. Once they complete their mission, it's just mere seconds for Dumbledore from when they left and went back in time. That was so cool.
Oh, that part is really cool.
I was like, oh. He's like, oh, you did, didn't you?
You were there.
Oh,
You were there. And so, like I noticed. So how I was complaining about Hermione being sidelined in the second one. Now this is Hermione's time to shine in this movie, and then we'll kind of leave Ron sidelined.
Yes.
And so, oh look, it's Felix.
Felix.
He's trying to run away.
There he
There he
is.
Hi, Felix.
He's getting his star treatment today.
Cute boy.
His 15 seconds of fame before he runs away and jumps into your camera.
Let's be honest, he's the real star of the podcast.
Yeah, we know.
All right. Okay. I have one little last thing here is would you call Lupin's suitcase he's packing up at the end a doggy bag?
Shut the fuck up. I knew you were going when you were saying it. I'm just like,
I said it to you when we watched the movie
you did?
too,
Yeah, okay.
and you're just like, oh.
it's such a bad joke.
I'm a terrible person.
You are a dad. You have
know.
the dad jokes.
I know.
Like it's just.
Anyway, what are you guys' last thoughts on Azkaban?
I think so it used to be my least favorite out of all of the movies, hands down. I least watched movie. I hated it when I was a kid because I just didn't understand the source material, or I didn't understand the subject matter. Now I see it definitely more on the higher tier. I think it's probably the best film, like the best filmmaking that has been made. I don't think it's not my favorite. I don't think it's the best like story either. I think that it's I got three different categories. Favorite movie, Half-Blood Prince. Best film, Prisoner of Azkaban. I think best story has got to be the last one. But anyway.
The last two or the last one?
The last one. The last movie. That's the best story that's being told.
Gotcha.
It's, yeah.
Okay.
Danny, I hate you. Not because I disagree, because I so heavily agree. That's like pretty much exactly what I would say. I was going to say this was my favorite overall movie, but like I did not like it as a kid, especially because I watched it like when it came out and I was 7 years old when it came out. And it was like some of my first ever adult movies. Not that it's an adult movie. It's still kids,
darker.
but like it wasn't Disney or something, an animated movie. It was my first like live action serious movie. And for that, it was so weird seeing the shift from 1 and 2 to this, because I'm pretty sure I watched them. Like this was when I first got into Harry Potter, was when this movie came out because my mom had it. And it was so weird that I did not like it as a kid because it was a little scary. to me anyway.
Well, the
I agree.
Dementors,
7-year-old me, the werewolf at the end was awful. I didn't really mind the Dementor so much. It was just the werewolf scene at the end that really got me.
Yeah.
Seeing Lupin transform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had already seen the It TV miniseries, so I was
So
I
you
was
were
pretty good
prepared.
at that point. I was pretty good at that point. And I was like 8 for seeing this the first time, and I watched it probably a good 10, 11 times when I was a kid. So like this is my most watched movie for sure out of the Harry Potter movies. After movie 4, like I have only seen them once in theaters. So 5, 6, 7, 8.
You're
only
in
once.
for a treat. Those are the best ones. Like the second half of the series, I think, is definitely the best.
We'll see.
Uh,
Yeah.
I agree.
But the best like kind of entertainment value for movies and stuff. But yeah. So what do you guys give this one out of 100?
I think this one, just for the nostalgia factor, it's probably gonna be a little higher. It's probably gonna be a 92 for me.
92.
I love this movie. This movie's great.
Yeah. Well, it's your favorite Harry Potter movie, right?
As of now, yes. But again, we got
Oh, I can't wait to
5 more.
show you Half-Blood Prince. Oh, that's gonna be so good.
Oh, I wish I could be in person for that.
Hey, you should come down or come
Yeah.
up.
maybe.
I mean, if you do it in an afternoon, I could do it. You know,
Yeah.
on one of Dan's days
Words.
off. Then or on the weekend, I could come over.
We'll see.
Cool.
Yeah, let's
that'd
do
be-
it.
Hell
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's do a marathon.
Oh,
Well, 5.
I don't
and
know
5
about that
Okay,
one,
5.
but-
and 6. Maybe
I've
5
seen
and
them
6.
kind of a lot. That'd be a
Okay.
lot. Maybe one at a time. But
right.
yeah.
You guys ready? Oh,
Well, James, what do you give it?
Yeah, what do you give it?
This is tough because I feel like I'm inconsistent and I don't remember what I gave the last movies. But I'd probably say like good old seeing it again as an adult now, 94.
Ooh.
Liked it a lot more as an
94.
adult than I ever did.
This
as
be a
a kid.
5-star one. Jesus.
Yeah, it is going to be a 5-star one because I give it a 91.
Ooh.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
It's like a consistent 90. I don't think we always have consistent 90s across the board.
Yeah,
never
no, this
really
is
do.
the first time that we've done it. But
Well, I mean, we may have done it before, but
yeah, I know I'm
done so
bad,
many
horrible at
movies.
remembering things, but I know
so many movies.
Lion King. I know was another one that we did.
Maybe Infinity War was up there too.
Oh, Infinity War's got to be up there. Yeah. Anyway,
All right, let's move on to Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
So I gotta get my notes out. You can start.
I literally thought the franchise stopped here, and I'm just like because I really got into Harry Potter around 2006. I'm just like, and I'm thinking like, that's it. Like, that's all there is. Or no, 2005. That's when the fourth one came out.
Yeah, it came out in 05.
So I'm thinking that's it. Great series. Great. And they were kind of leading to something with Voldemort, but like whatever. I don't need him and stuff. So I literally thought it ended here. And the Scene It game that I've played all the
I
time.
almost said seen it before.
I almost said seen it before. The Scene It game, led me to believe that also that because it stopped at 4. So I'm thinking, okay, solid series. This is going to go down. And this is kind of like the same way that I thought like the MCU ended with the Avengers when that came out. I'm just like, that was a great thing. And I didn't think they would
Good
add
run.
on
Time
to
to
it.
pack it in.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, here we are 10 years later. Still rock.
It's still going.
They may have teased that purple guy, but hey, he doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's
This is a long epilogue.
it's fucking 10 years later. But yeah, so I literally thought this ended, and I'm just like, okay, that's fine. And this one's probably the darkest yet. It's hard to explain because this is the one that like people actually fucking die in, and like we'll get to the
First
last movie.
PG-13 movie.
It is.
In the series. The first
It's the
PG-13
first
one.
PG-13, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we had a
Whoa.
whole debate last time where I really thought Prisoner of Azkaban was PG-13.
Yeah.
But Dan proved
I'm
me wrong.
surprised it wasn't
yeah.
though, because that was still pretty atmospheric and moody.
Yeah.
Speaking of moody, he's a bit moody in this.
He's also a little mad.
It's almost like he's not acting like himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So actually, I wanted to bring that up.
What's that
So,
about?
so at the end of the movie, I'm kind of jumping ahead. I know.
That's fine.
He's revealed to not be Mad Eye Moody. It's revealed that Barty Crouch Jr. is using
Polyjuice.
Polyjuice Potion to become Mad Eye Moody, and
Played by the wonderful David Tennant.
David Tennant and
Yeah,
Brendan.
so underutilized in that role.
Yeah, I know.
And Brendan Gleeson plays Mad Eye Moody. We should mention that.
Yeah.
In the episode 5 or stop saying episode. Jesus.
You were so honest.
Order of the Phoenix, or the Order of the Phoenix. Mad-Eye seems like he has a relationship with Harry.
Yeah.
And he's like, it feels like it's based on this movie. But like, what was Mad-Eye like at least around in the beginning of the movie where it was actually him, or was he always Polyjuice Potion David Tennant?
I think he at one point got switched over in the movie. I don't think he was always.
No,
He's always Barty Crouch Jr.
Oh yeah, because he was always drinking the bottle even in the beginning.
Always drinking from the flask.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he was from the very
yeah.
beginning.
His very first scene when he breaks in with the lightning, all badass.
And just eyes Harry Potter down. Yeah.
Yeah, he's drinking from the flask. He's Barty Crouch the entire time.
Gotcha.
So that doesn't make any sense. This inconsistency in the next movie then, because he's like, "Hey, my boy, let's go on an adventure. Let's jailbreak you out of the Dursleys." You know.
I think that's more just being a very confident Auror, and rather than being friendly with the kid, he just knows his job and knows what the hell needs to be done, and is going to get it done.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
all right.
Because he's like one of the most feared Aurors in all of the Ministry. Like, there's a reason he's Mad-Eye.
Yeah,
Mad-Eye Moody.
All right, starting with the beginning of this movie, the Quidditch World Cup. I legit did not even remember this happened in this movie. I don't remember the Quidditch World Cup at all.
The only reason I remember it is because there's that really awkward scene where, like, you know, where they use the port key for the first time. By the way, port keys are fucking awesome.
They are really cool.
Such a cool idea. And I just remember Robert Pattinson like kicking his, like, you know, they're kind of like walking from the air to the ground, and they're like, you know, and then they just look fucking stupid. That's how I remember the Quidditch World Cup. I'm like, where are they going? Oh yeah, to the Quidditch World Cup. So.
Yeah, it's very throwaway the entire time until obviously the Death Eaters come in after the cup itself has happened. But I just remember, and every time I watch it, even though I hate Quidditch with a passion, I am disappointed when they're building up the game to start and then it just cuts to after the game's happened.
Yeah, they don't even
At
show
least
it.
just a little sliver of the action would have been nice, but no, it just cuts
they
to
showed what's his face?
Victor
Crumb.
Crumb.
Victor Crumb. Yeah, they showed him.
Yeah, they showed the teams briefly coming out, and that was it.
They do that actually a lot in that scene because my version of the movie had these really fucked up subtitles on it. It kept like enlarging certain words, and like it was really stupid. And so we're trying to fix it while the movie's playing, and then all of a sudden we're like going from like a happy scene where they're just kind of hanging out in the tent. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh no, the Death Eaters are here!" And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Like, did you skip ahead?
Yeah, I thought I skipped ahead. So it just happens. They just skip around in that scene. So
there was. What else happens at the beginning of this book, James? Like that is not in the. Is it like a lot on this?
So they introduce a pretty big character in the books that's not in the movies whatsoever. And when I say pretty big, I mean not that big in the grand scheme of things, but they recur a lot in this book. Winky is a house elf, and they belong to Barty Crouch, the Minister of Magic, senior. Well, the Crouch family. Winky's introduced, and they're a house elf and whatnot. But then, like at the end, she has a wand that incriminates the family, so he sacks her, and she's gone. And then she ends up getting a job at Hogwarts, and there's a whole plot line regarding her, alcohol, Dobby, and Hermione.
I know the Hermione one where like she starts the
Spew, the Society for the Protection of Elvish Welfare.
Yeah, it's like she's an activist
for house elves, despite house elves saying time and time again, we don't want this. We're fine for the most part doing what we're doing.
I think
there are issues.
That's weird though that she would like. You talked about this in the last episode, but it's like, why would a race of people want to be enslaved? Like. Magical creature.
Yeah,
they want
it's a weird thought.
Yeah,
but like at least you know the Hogwarts house elves are shown to be treated very nicely, and they enjoy what they do. And she's even trying to like free these house elves from working at the castle when like they clearly enjoy doing this part of it.
Do like a fucking just do like a paid internship sort of thing for them. Don't be like why do they want to be enslaved? Like
let them get some credits, take some classes, get their GED.
Yeah, they like live in nannies or something like that.
Yeah.
It could work.
But yeah, so there's a whole plot line that stems from her being introduced at the beginning of the book that is missing entirely from the movies. And as well, because she gets sacked, that's why she becomes an alcoholic and like is just a slobbering mess that Dobby's constantly like, oh my God, Winky, what are you doing? Yeah.
I mean, I meant more along the lines of, the Quidditch World Cup. Like, how much of that is
well,
actually-
Winky's
for some
there.
reason,
I get that.
okay, there is something in the books actually that is not explained in the movies. Fred and George in the books, they wager a extremely low odds bet that Crumb would catch the snitch, but Bulgaria would still lose the match. I think Bulgaria was his team, maybe.
Yeah.
Whatever country. Yeah, they would still lose the game despite Crumb winning the match, which is incredibly low odds because, as I went on a rant last time, a snitch is worth 150 points to a Quaffle's 10. But somehow Ireland happened to be up by 160 and Bulgaria lost by 10. And because of this, Fred and George win a large sum of money from Ludo Bagman, another character that is in the books heavily, but not at all in the movie. He's like this corrupt, gambling addicted games master for the Ministry of Magic. He's in charge of the tournament itself at the school.
Yeah.
And yeah, they win a large sum of money that helps start funding their joke shop. That's how they start developing all these treats and stuff around the school that they test on other students and stuff, and they begin Zonkos.
I like that. Yeah, I like how they do that. Like it's kind of like built on like they're gonna eventually be entrepreneurs in the magic world, and they're gonna have like this joke shop and stuff.
Yep, this is where it first starts.
Yeah, that's
cool.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Also, Ludo Bagman the entire time is just a gigantic red herring, where you constantly think he's up to some shady shit. But no, he's just an idiot that likes to gamble a lot.
Yeah,
he has no involvement to Voldemort whatsoever.
Yeah, that's another thing with Fred and George. They're really not in the movies either. They're just kind of there. They don't really do anything.
I mean, at least they're there, and they're not like fucking Percy or Percy's sort of there, but Charlie's not even in the movies. He's mentioned one line in this movie. That's it.
Yep.
You know, and like he doesn't play a big part in the books that I've read, that I remember reading and stuff. But like still, he's part of the Weasley family. But like, even Bill shows up towards the end, you know. But Charlie's nowhere to be found.
Charlie's the only Weasley not featured in the movies, like only main family Weasley. Yeah,
and like so, this movie, I mean, does a lot of trimming down because I know that like Goblet of Fire is probably the biggest book at the time. I think Order is the biggest, if not the seventh one.
Order is the biggest, yes.
Yeah. So they do a good job trimming down.
Goblet of Fire is 734 pages.
Jesus. It's a lot of books. There's a lot of pages.
It's
a thick boy.
It's dummy thick. Kind of like Daddy's ass.
But yeah, so they do a good job trimming it down. And the one thing I wish they trimmed down or like expanded, because they're in like this weird middle child spot with it, with the argument or the kind of spat between Harry and Ron.
Oh yeah,
I feel like it was resolved way too quickly, or like not enough.
It was the first half of the movie. I mean, it was
but
about half.
I don't know. It just felt weird.
That is also one of Ron's throwaway predictions they ended up making. He made the reference that you're going to be stabbed in the back by a friend, and he was by Ron later on.
So how did he stab in the back? Was it because he let him know?
Like completely like turning on him.
Okay.
Yeah,
just being mad at him.
I think it references other stuff as well, but yeah, he turns on him. He isn't there for him.
I assume there's more of it, a better explanation or expansion about the spat in the book, because that feels like a kind of like a central character thing to Ron, where my best friend is getting all the hype. You know, he's the chosen one. He gets to go on all these adventures, and I get left in the dust all the time. You know,
yeah. I mean, like the timing of it in the book is pretty similar, where he's kind of shows these hints of jealousy at first when he's picked to be a champion, and then like especially after the dragon, he starts to really get jealous. Because Harry just succeeded and did really well, and Ron's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
But then by the time the second task comes around, the lake where Ron himself is one of the people abducted, that's when he changes his mood. He's like, I can't imagine you actually want to do this after he gets nearly eaten alive by mermaids.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't remember that. I don't know. I just feel like it'd be more fluid if they included that in the earlier movies or books or whatever. Like just him being like, hey, that's like a little fuck you a little bit, but you know.
Yeah, which I guess is one fault you can kind of attribute to the series is the constant shift of directors and production crew behind it. It's a little hard to establish that central theme until you get David Yates in.
Yeah, which I was just gonna say, like that's probably a contributing factor why the later half of the series is better in my opinion, or more cohesive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it follows a singular direction.
Yeah.
Another thing I wish was kind of expanded on in the movies is Neville's parents.
Yeah, because I didn't know any of that in the books or in just watching the movies. I just found that out by dumpster diving in YouTube for it.
And then there's the Cruciatus spell, like in that one scene they had in this movie, like that you were mentioning it when we were watching it. It's like, oh, that's how his parents died. I'm like, oh, that's why he's freaking out.
They didn't die.
They didn't die.
You know,
we said that last episode.
I
Come
remember.
on, Dan.
Sorry.
I forgot to, but
okay, cool.
No, they just went mentally
insane.
Yeah, and you said in which book did he go? He goes to the mental hospital, right?
I believe it's the 5th, Order of the Phoenix. Yeah, he goes to St. Mungo's Hospital. He sees Gilderoy Lockhart there, and in the same ward is where he sees Neville, because that's like a ward for head injuries, mental memory issues.
Yeah.
He sees Neville with his parents when he sees Gilderoy Lockhart at St. Mungo's. It's heartbreaking. His mom gives him a candy wrapper, and his grandmother tells him, throw that away, and then he still keeps it anyway.
Oh.
That's so
depressing.
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't know Hedwig was a girl.
Hedwig is a girl.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that until the last one, or the part 7, Deathly Hallows Part 1, where he's like, they killed her. I'm just like, oh, Hedwig was a girl.
Oh. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead, James.
The other schools that get introduced, Durmstrang and Beauxbatons. For some reason in the movies, they made them gendered schools, where Beauxbatons is all female and Durmstrang is all male. That's not the case in the books whatsoever. They're co-ed schools.
Okay.
That's just a weird choice where Beauxbatons, they just have to walk in all flirty and hot. I don't want to say hot. They're kids. They're not hot.
Yeah, I mean, there was a really weird shot in there. Not going to lie.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I know exactly.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I forget. I'll have to go back and watch it.
It's pretty obvious.
I'm not going to explain. Anyway, for some reason they make them all flirty because, they're French. And they make Durmstrang all, we are masculine because they're Bulgarian for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, way to play up the stereotypes there, people.
This is also like, okay, so the Triwizard tournament, and, they got the fire, put your names in the fire and everything. It's kind of like the wizard version of signing a permission slip to watch an R-rated movie in class. Except deadly.
Oh, sorry. Minor tangent back to Prisoner of Azkaban. Another heartbreaking thing from the books. Harry, remember how he can't go to Hogsmeade at all because he doesn't have permission?
Forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the books, he asks Prime Minister Cornelius Fudge. He asks him to sign his permission slip because he has no one else to sign off on it when he meets him at the very beginning of the book.
Imagine you fucking call up the president and be like, hey, can I go to fucking Washington DC?
He didn't call him up. He was already meeting with him, but he just kind of slipped in at the end, like, hey, while you're here, could you sign this? And he's like, no.
But he's like, first of all, why do you need a permission slip to go to a fucking village? You travel from your fucking house to a magical castle. Why do you need a permission slip to go 30 yards outside of the building?
Well, I think a big part of that is I'm sure the teachers probably would have made an exception for Harry if it weren't for the fact that Sirius was looking for him. And that's why they in the castle. So they probably would have been like, we get it. Your parents, guardians, whatever, suck.
Yeah, they're kind of awful people.
Yeah.
And the other thing to go along with that, Like, why does he have to participate? Because like it's some bullshit magical contract. Like it's
That
because
was
plot. I mean, like, is that really
Oh,
the answer
yeah.
to that?
that was
I
the
mean,
most because plot thing I think is
Yeah.
in this movies. Yeah, it's like
it's so contrived and just.
yeah. It's like, oh, we need to have Harry do all these, horrible or like these very dangerous tasks and stuff. I love how they keep calling it the Tri-Wizard Tournament. It's 4. It's the Quad Wizard
Yeah,
Tournament
right.
now.
It is.
But,
So sorry, I actually do have that exact chapter up where they discuss if he has to do it. They are saying yes, right here. It is a binding magical contract, and they literally reference convenient, eh? Moody says, or was that
How do they enforce
No, that was
that?
Moody. Yeah,
How do
just
yeah.
'cause
They
you
even say
fucking-
it's like a.
just
I
because
mean,
you
it's a
say
magical
like,
contract. They also have like the unbreakable vow, where if you break it, you die. So like, I'm sure there's similar stipulations here.
I don't know.
That's
It's
just.
But like with the unbreakable vow is you have 2 consenting parties. Harry didn't even know his name was being put in there.
It is
So, like-
definitely some bullshit, but they do try to explain it in the book.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like you can't wink at the audience like, "Hey, this is stupid." It's still stupid, Like
Yeah, I mean,
just because you're in on the
you
joke
can't-
doesn't mean it makes it better.
100%.
Like, I can't sign marriage license in Dan's name to me as both Dan and myself and get away with it
Yeah.
because I'm not him. So I don't get how they could say submitting someone's name, even if they didn't submit it themselves, is still valid.
Are you trying
Yeah.
to? Are you trying to marry me?
Oh, you picked up on that? I'm
Oh,
glad.
I picked up on it.
Yeah.
Because okay, so then that makes me wonder though, how did this not so how come no seniors were like putting juniors' names into the Goblet of Fire? Like there's no stipulation, there's nothing stopping that, right?
Doesn't seem like it.
So
Again, it's just.
so I say, hey, we want to put Colin Creevy in the Hunger Games, and
Yeah.
he gets
But, like,
killed.
that's the whole thing that sets off this movie, which is like it's dumb.
Yeah, the impetus is not very well thought out. But we need to move it on. So
Yeah, let's get off of this topic. Let's go to the first thing, the dragons. Yeah.
Task.
dragons, yeah.
Dragons.
That's the first task. Are you mad? Yeah. It's like- or he says like, "Are you insane?" Or something like that. Yeah. So Ron helped Hagrid, helped Charlie bring the dragons to Hogwarts. Right? Is that the correct ladder or chain?
I think.
Like
Charlie brought in dragons. Ron knew about it. Ron told Hermione to tell Harry, and
my
Hagrid
God.
told Harry. I don't remember.
Anyway.
I remember
Ron knew about it. Ron was being a little piss baby and didn't want to tell Harry, so he told him through Hagrid, I
He's
believe.
being a little
It's something
piss
else that
baby.
he said through Hermione.
Piss baby's a good word. I like that.
I like poop baby better. You gonna cry? You gonna be a little poop baby?
No, you're a piss baby.
Piss baby.
Yeah.
So I'll just rapid fire this one for
Go ahead.
all the tasks
Yeah,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
The first 3. The dragon is pretty similar. The only big difference is Harry doesn't go on a big wild chase around the entire grounds with the dragon. The dragon never escapes in the book. So it's a lot shorter and like underwhelming in the book. So I think the movie actually kind of made it a lot cooler.
Okay.
The way they did it. The second task, the lake itself was pretty similar, though there's a lot of detail missing. They spent a lot of time, having Harry explore the lake and like see all this weird shit. But a big thing is Neville in the movie gives Harry gillyweed. And we find out later it's kind of planted into him by Moody, because Moody, we find out, is one that planted his name, but it's really Barty Crouch. Yada yada.
Yes.
Anyway, in the book, it is not Neville that gives Harry the gillyweed. It is Dobby that gives him the gillyweed. Again, Dobby plays somewhat of a bigger role in the book.
He's never in the
Obviously
movies.
doesn't play
He's
any role
barely
in
ever in
the
the
movie.
movies.
Yeah, but he plays like a somewhat decent role in the book in this, and he's the one that Moody got to give Harry the gillyweed, not Neville.
Ah, I see. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of any of these tasks. Like,
They're all pretty lame.
yeah, like they're not spectator sport. Like that's the stupid thing. In each
The
task,
dragon one's pretty spectator.
the second one,
Not in the movie.
The dragon one.
the dragon, in theory, it is. but Harry
But the movie
drives away or flies away, and the dragon goes with him. So they're just in every single task. They're just sitting there, just looking
listening
at
to distant sounds of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so in the dragon one, they're just like, what the fuck's going on over there? And then in the water one, they're just standing there waiting for them to come up after an hour. And then the maze one, I think, is the stupidest one because they know they just see the doors, the hedges close on them, and then it's just quiet, and then nothing's happening. Like, are they playing the music the entire time? Like. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's so fucking stupid.
It's weird why it's such a spectator sport when there's no spectacle to behold for the audience at all.
Like, you can fix it perfectly because you have magic. And TVs exist. Make a magical TV that can see into the water.
But electronics do not work at Hogwarts because of the magic interference.
No, I mean, you could make magical TVs. You could fucking, like, you have some sort of like, all right, it's like a magical bubble, right? You put it in the water, and it follows Harry, and it follows all the contestants or the wizards as they're doing the tournament thing. And then
I'm just now picturing behind Harry, third-person camera, like a bubble just following him everywhere he goes in the maze.
How else are you gonna? You have fucking living pictures of people that when they die, it shows up on the wall.
Yeah.
You tell them you can't fucking have a Wi-Fi exists, and that's in our world. You can't fucking have a magical Bluetooth thing to show fucking what's under. It's just stupid.
Yeah. All right.
Moving. Also, wait, the one thing that the maze they changed in the movie compared to the book, there was actual obstacles in the maze. It wasn't just a maze. There was stuff to overcome, like creatures to fight at every turn, including there was a sphinx that Harry met that he had to answer a riddle for, like an actual freaking riddle. There was boggarts in the maze in the book. Blast-ended Scroots, which is one of the creatures that Hagrid shows at the very beginning of the book. There's a lot involved in the maze. That actually makes it a difficult task and not just who can get here the fastest.
Yeah.
All right. I got one question.
Yes.
How often does the Triwizard Tournament happen?
They mention in the book that it hasn't happened in a long time, but it used to happen quite regularly.
Do they just decide?
But this is its first recurrence in a long time.
It's again also
another. Well, that one could have been easy. You could have just done a Hunger Games quarter quell thing. This is the 25th year, right?
Could have been once. Every 25 years. Something. I don't know.
Yeah, you can do some shit like that.
It's
a little. I agree with you. It's contrived. The whole getting this movie started. The story started is very contrived.
Then there's the Yule Ball.
Oh, the Yule Ball. Oh my God.
There's the only
cringy.
There's one good thing about that. It actually gets you to see them being kids and actually learning to kind of, know,
it's
grow up
implementing.
growing up a little bit, and Hagrid getting laid, but with his very tall headmaster.
Yes, yeah, I forgot her name, but
I forgot her name too.
Yeah, she's they're probably the best couple out of everyone.
Yeah.
Maxine.
Yes,
I get a little I get cringy vibes from Victor Crumb and Hermione.
Yeah, it's weird.
Hermione definitely seems like a 15-year-old.
Watch her study.
Yeah, that's
Just
fucking dude. He
weird,
looks
man.
like he's 30. It looks creepy.
It's not much better in the actual story because she's 14 in this, and Victor Crumb is 18.
That's still fucking yeah. That's
creepy. She's a freshman in high school and he's a senior in high school.
Yeah, that was creepy and kick ass, and it's still creepy now.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of creepy,
okay.
Moaning Myrtle.
Moaning Myrtle. Yeah, that's
Harry.
Her name is Moaning Myrtle. First of all, that's creepy.
Yeah, well,
and she's played by a 30-year-old.
Yep, and Harry's just in the bath with the egg, trying to figure out what it's saying to get to the next part of the Triwizard Tournament, and it's like, this is weird, man.
She's all up on him and stuff. First of all, you're gonna get laid by a ghost.
He's ferociously trying to put the bubbles on himself.
Yeah,
so oh my God.
Well, yeah, because she said it took Cedric almost the time to all the bubbles evaporate, and he's all like, I'm gonna move more over here. So, yeah, but I don't know. So it's really hard to explain because coming out of this movie, I think this has like a Force Awakens vibe to me because it's like coming out of this movie, I was like hyped because I'm like, holy shit, what did I just watch? Oh my God. But the first two parts of it really are just, contrived and then lots of dicking around and meandering.
Yes.
It's so like I'm not really not loving the beginning and middle of this movie. And only once we get to the third task and like the whole final 30 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. That's what I came to see,
Yeah. No, 100%.
I found it.
What were you looking for?
Fine.
Why it's been so long since the last Triwizard Tournament.
Okay.
The Triwizard Tournament was first established some 700 years ago as a competition between the schools. Champion would each be selected until, that is, the death toll mounted so high that the tournament was discontinued.
Oh.
There have been several attempts to reinstate it. None have been very successful. This is just another attempt to bring it back.
Okay, so now my criticism is, why would you let children do that? Where like many people die?
They only let 17 plus. Technically, they only let
that's
17
fucking
plus.
dumb. It's
do
not
it
the
until
military.
it's convenient for the plot.
Jesus.
Because plot.
Well, in the Wizarding world as well, 17 up is considered adult, not 18. 17 is a full adult in the Wizarding world.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when they lose the trace. That's when they can use magic whenever they wish. It's 17, not 18. So that is,
it's like
our
final
21 years. Huh?
21 is like really when you get like all your privileges.
They're 21, sure. Yeah.
I also like in this movie, like the part where Dumbledore leaves Harry in his office and he sees the memories and everything.
Yeah.
Pensive.
Yes. And it's like just trying to make Dumbledore's like, you should learn to forget. Just leave the past in the past. You don't need to remember it. Just move on. And that's kind of, it's helped him. Like, it's a transition from the first half of the movies to the second half. And it's really well done, I think.
Yeah, because the Mirror of Erised was kind of established that kind of trope, or established that in Harry's kind of zeitgeist or whatever. Mm-hmm. And now he's like looking into the past, and he's like, and then Dumbledore's giving them advice. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and I didn't think about it that way. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just him letting go.
Yeah.
And you just said something that I know I mentioned a little bit last time, but I'll explain again, is how a lot of people consider this book to be the bridge between the first trilogy and the last trilogy, where the first trilogy is kind of growing up, figuring out what's going on. This one, he's just constantly, and then the last trilogy, he's just like, what the hell? So like, it's like the bridge. It's where it takes the jump from he's no longer a kid anymore to him witnessing another child die. Well,
I definitely think that is like the perfect thing to do to transition us from that is to kill Cedric, just because like what a midpoint. It's like literally the midpoint of the entire series, even in the book or even in the movies too, because we got four at the end of fourth movie, beginning of the first four, or the next four, and it's such a matter of fact way that he's killed, and I think that's what makes it more horrific.
Kill the spa.
Yeah, it's so he's so not the point of the scene, The point of the scene is like Voldemort's coming back, and then he's just an afterthought, and like that's just so matter of fact. He's just taken out, and like, you know what I mean? Because like the scene like builds up, and just like, oh no, Voldemort's here, kill despair, he's gone. Oh my God, Voldemort's still coming back, Yeah, it's not the focus, and it's such a good idea, just to really transition us there.
I was just going to add in before we start finishing up here, I believe. I referenced earlier on Prisoner of Azkaban, we had an animagus in this series, in this book that is not in the movies. Rita Skeeter is an animagus in the books.
That name made me fucking die when I heard it. Like Rita Skeeter.
Rita Skeeter.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. So I said Trelawney was J.K. Rowling. No, Rita Skeeter's definitely J.K. Rowling. Yeah.
Hard disagree, because J.K. Rowling has personally come on the record and said that Rita Skeeter is the exact epitome of everything she hates with media and publicity and all that, and
Oh, really?
awful reporters that she herself has dealt with in her time after becoming a famous writer. She has
Yikes.
stated how Rita Skeeter is like her least favorite person.
Well, I mean, I just got her vibes from that. Yeah, but if she's not,
I mean,
okay, I'll
now that we
trust her.
know what we know. Yeah, but- yeah, in the book, she's an animagus, and she's actually a cockroach, is her animagus.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and that's how she is always able to get her dirt, because she is a cockroach in the corner.
Yeah.
No one ever thinks to look for her. And a really fucked up plot point actually is Hermione later on in the books traps her in a jar and carries around her in that like magical bag in the whole like last book.
Holy shit.
Yeah, she literally captures Rita Skeeter and keeps her as a prisoner.
How does she die or like?
Nah, she found her sneaking around at some point and like traps her in a jar.
She just stays in
while
the
she's a
jar for the whole
cockroach.
time.
Yeah, while she's a cockroach. She I guess I don't remember why she can't break out of it. Maybe it's explained, maybe it's not. I don't know. But Hermione walks around with a active prisoner in her wallet.
All right, yo, I hate to do this. We got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Voldemort. Let's talk more about that because that is the best scene of this movie.
Yeah,
is
it's
him coming back. He's a baby first, and then he gets thrown in the fucking cauldron.
Yeah, and it's
But
I don't know. I just love like we were talking about. I'm not sure where I was watching it because I didn't watch Pirates of the Caribbean recently, but I just remember seeing Davy Jones recently, and I'm thinking that's such good CGI.
this movie has great CGI. If it has one thing going for it, it's the CGI. For 2005, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
really good.
Even Voldemort's nose is CGI.
Yes.
Yeah.
While on set, Ralph Fiennes didn't have any makeup on his nose. They took it out entirely in post.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw like the green dots on the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
But but that's so it's like it's very creepy. The whole scene is like just designed to make you like go. Yeah, I mean Ray Fiennes. He's like he. It's his first performance as Voldemort, and I think he fucking sells it. You know.
He's only a cameo in this movie, but holy shit.
Yeah, it's great,
he
and
makes the
like
movie.
you know, and Wormtail is also pretty creepy too, and like he cuts off his own hand, and you know, it's like
He got.
yeah.
He gets pizza popped.
Yeah. That's how he dies. James gets it.
I get it.
But yeah, eventually, yeah. But I just love this scene, man. It's like this is the movie for me, you know. And then we get the
My boy.
Oh,
yes,
that's the other thing we
That's
wanna
the
bring
scene
back.
that traumatizes me.
The music.
The
Yeah.
music. Fuck. How did I forget? I forgot how it went.
Oh yeah. But then like the whole fade out where it's like
Yeah, it's like
know,
a
it's
boy,
like,
and
That's
then
my boy.
I love how like just kind of the build up to that, like,
Yeah.
you know, Fudge is like, a boy has just died, and like everyone's just kind of like, what's going on, and everyone's rubbernecking and stuff, and like, it's just,
I think some
Yeah.
of the best performances from the entire series come from these two scenes, the graveyard scene
Honestly,
and then
yeah.
teleporting back to Hogwarts right afterwards. I think some of the best acting in the entire series
100%.
from
I
everyone.
agree with that.
Ralph Fiennes, Daniel Radcliffe, Cedric's dad, Amos Diggory.
Amos.
Everyone was so good.
Amos really
So
gave the performance of a lifetime. I wish I knew the actor's name, but damn, he really made me feel things as a kid, depressing things.
All right, yo.
I'll have to reference something that Daniel Radcliffe does in Order of the Phoenix on our next episode because there is some emotional performances that were cut from that movie.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that'd be good.
All right. Well, I think we got to wrap this one up. Let's rate it. So, James, rate this movie for us.
Yeah. As a book fan, I do not like this movie particularly because there's a lot missing from the books. So this is probably my worst movies out of them. I'm gonna say 80.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 85. This movie lives and dies by the last 20 minutes, and you know, the rest of it is just not good. But that the ending is so friggin' good. I think it might be. it's got to be top 3 scenes in Harry Potter, right? I mean, the return of Voldemort, right? So yeah, I'm gonna give it 85.
Yeah, there's just so much contrived stuff in this movie. Like, now thinking about it and how we just talked about it, it's just like,
We were in the moment. We're like, hey, this is kind of good, but like, it doesn't really hold up,
just because the plot makes no sense, but it has to get us from point A to point B. So forgiving that, and with the CGI and the last scene,
True.
it's 83.
83. Okay.
83.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, James, thank you again for being on our second episode of our Harry Potter binge here.
Of course, I love to be here. I love to nerd out on Harry Potter.
And you'll be with us in the last 2 episodes, I hope, as well.
I
But
hope.
yes,
I just made a whole tease for the episode. I hope I did.
Yeah, he's got so many thoughts. Like, yeah, but that'll be next season. So
yes, that will be next season. We are officially wrapping up this season.
yep.
Starting back up again in September, so just about a month away. Yeah, we got a few things planned, mainly just movies in theaters. That's gonna be a big thing we're gonna be focusing on. Relevant movies in theaters. If you guys want to see us watch something or react to something, just let us know. Twitter, Instagram, yeah, anything. But yeah, we are Seen It Before. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok with the handle @SeenItBeforecast. That's SCENE It Beforecast. And on Twitter with the handle @SIB_pod. I'm Dan.
I'm Danny. You can find me on Instagram @Danny_Was, my letterbox @DJWas, or my YouTube channel, which is just Danny Was. And James, would you like to plug anything?
Hi, yeah, if you want, you can give my letterbox to follow. I very occasionally might say my opinion about something. It's James81XA.
Cool.
All right. Well, another movie in the books.
Another
Movies,
successful.
2 movies in the books.
Yeah.
We'll kick off next season with Harry Potter again. Don't miss it. It's been an honor as usual. We'll see you guys soon.